Welcome, dear listener. Tonight, you and I begin a gentle journey through time. Together, we'll step softly into the past, into the heart of the 19th century, to a place that was both feared and endured, the Victorian Workhouse. But do not worry. This will not be a story of struggle told harshly. Instead, it will be woven slowly, like threads on a loom, calming and steady, designed to help you unwind, to help your breathing soften, and your thoughts drift into peaceful dreams. This is more than a story. It is a sleep companion, a relaxing historical bedtime story, shaped to soothe you. My voice will guide you word by word, moment by moment. It will be a calm lantern, lighting the way while you rest. The images that rise will be quiet ones. Echoes of footsteps in long corridors, the soft glow of candlelight, the hush of wind against old stone walls. So before we begin, let yourself grow comfortable. Adjust your pillow. Pull the blanket around you just as you like it. Feel your body sink into the surface beneath you. And now, take a slow breath in. Hold it for a moment, and let it go. Again, in, filling your lungs, and out, emptying away the weight of the day. This time, as you breathe out, imagine every concern, every noise, every little burden, simply floating away from you, dissolving into the quiet around you. In this story, there is no rush, there is no demand. You have arrived, and you are safe. Perhaps you are here because you love history, the hidden corners of the past, the voices that once lived and breathed in places now forgotten. Or perhaps you are here because rest has been hard to find, and tonight you long for calm. This sleep story offers you both, a gentle exploration of the Victorian Workhouse, and a peaceful path toward deep rest. Close your eyes now, if they are not already closed. Feel the softness of darkness wrapping around you. Notice how the silence, broken only by my voice, begins to feel like a blanket itself. You are exactly where you need to be, and in a moment, you will drift with me into another century. The workhouse of Victorian Britain was a place of stark contrasts. To some, it meant survival when there was nothing else. To others, it meant shame and hardship. And yet, within those walls, there were lives, ordinary people, men, women, and children, each with their own story. Tonight, we will not look with judgment, nor with haste. Instead, we will wander slowly, like travelers who have all the time in the world. We will listen to the echoes of the past. We will notice the smallest details. The smell of bread baking in a dim kitchen, the scratch of boots on stone floors, the way morning light falls pale through high barred windows. But before we step inside, before the history unfolds, we must prepare the mind. We must soften it like soil before the seed. Take another deep breath now, in through your nose and out through your mouth. Feel your shoulders loosen. Feel your jaw unclench. Feel the muscles of your hands and legs sink deeper into rest. The day outside is over. Whatever it brought, it has already passed. You are here now, in this moment, with only calm ahead. Imagine just for a while that time itself has slowed, that every second stretches wide, like ripples across a still pond. Nothing hurries here, nothing presses against you. This is your time to wander. Your time to rest. Soon you will step through a doorway in your imagination, a doorway that leads to the 19th century. On the other side, the world is quieter, simpler. Horses' hooves strike cobblestones, lanterns flicker in the fog, church bells echo at dawn, and on the edge of towns and cities, the workhouse stands, tall, stern, and watchful. A place of rules and routines, yet, as you enter it tonight, it will unfold gently, like the turning of a page. This story will move in two ways. At times, You will walk in your own shoes, observing softly, drifting like a quiet visitor through the past. At other times, you will see through the eyes of someone who lived within the workhouse system, an imagined figure whose footsteps you will follow. This blending of perspectives will carry you deeper into the scene, so that history is not only heard, but also felt. But do not worry. Every step, every image will remain calm and unthreatening. Even the hardest places, when told in whispers and candlelight, can become gentle to the mind. The Victorian workhouse will not frighten you here. It will only invite you to listen, to rest, and to dream. So, let us breathe once more, slowly, in and out. With each breath, picture yourself walking further from the noise of the present world, the hum of machines, the glow of screens, the clamour of today's thoughts. They all fade, they all dissolve into quiet, and before you lies a long corridor stretching into the past, lined with doors. One of these doors is marked for you. When you open it, you will step into the year 1850 or perhaps 1870, somewhere in that shadowed century. Beyond it, the air is cool, the streets damp with morning mist, the sound of a bell tolling faintly in the distance. This is the beginning. You are ready to walk into another world, ready to see, to listen, and to rest within the story of the workhouse. You do not need to hold on tightly to every detail. The words will flow around you like water. Some will linger, others will slip away. That is how it should be. You do not need to remember. You only need to feel the calm. Let the breath deepen one last time before we cross. In and out. The past is waiting, but there is no hurry. We step softly. We step together. The story begins. The world of the 19th century begins to unfurl before you, like a quiet dream taking shape. You find yourself standing upon a cobblestone street in the heart of Victorian England. The stones beneath your feet are slick from the night's gentle rain, their uneven edges glistening faintly in the grey dawn. Mist curls low along the ground, drifting like a silver veil, softening every outline. Even the harshest corners seem tender under this gauzy shroud of morning fog. The air is cool, carrying with it a medley of scents. The tang of coal smoke rising from chimney stacks, the faint sweetness of yeast and baking bread, the damp smell of wet brick. Each inhalation brings you further into this moment. Each exhalation loosens the weight from your shoulders, reminding you that here, in this dreamlike journey, there is no hurry. Listen now. The city breathes around you. In the distance, the faint rattle of a cart drifts closer, wheels clattering softly against stone. Glass bottles clink within, their sound bright but muted by the fog. A milkman's silhouette slowly takes form, his figure blurred as though painted with watercolours. He lifts the bottles with practiced care, setting them upon stoops with quiet precision before disappearing once more into the mist. Not far away, a baker props open the wooden door to his shop. At once, a ribbon of warmth spills out into the cool morning air, carrying with it the rich aroma of fresh loaves and sweet buns. The scent mingles with smoke from the hearth fires, wrapping around you in a comforting embrace. Even in hardship, there are still small comforts, the promise of bread, the glow of fire, the shared rituals of beginning another day. You walk on. Gas lamps stand in a row along the street, their glass fogged from the damp. One by one, a lamplighter moves along with his long pole, snuffing the final flames of night. Each soft hiss marks the slow passing of hours, a rhythm as steady as the heartbeat of the city. He moves with quiet dignity, his boots splashing faintly in shallow puddles, his cloak brushing against the wet stone. Pause here for a moment. Notice how even the smallest sounds carry. Drips of water from the eaves, the soft cough of a waking horse, the distant toll of a bell. Everything is softened, hushed, as if the entire world is wrapped in a blanket of grey wool, waiting for the day to begin. Around you, life stirs gently. Women in shawls walk briskly, their skirts lifted slightly above the damp stones, heading toward the looming silhouettes of factories. The faint clatter of their shoes creates a steady rhythm. Barefoot children trail behind them, giggling softly, weaving in and out of alleyways. They chase each other's shadows, their laughter echoing against the brick walls, a fragile brightness in an otherwise muted morning. Above, the rows of narrow houses stretch high, their chimneys clustered together like blackened towers. From them rises the smoke of countless fires, a pale grey against the darker fog. Laundry hangs from lines strung across the narrow gap between buildings. Shirts, skirts, and bed sheets sway gently, damp from the rain, pale shapes moving as though they are ghosts suspended in the air. A cat, ginger-furred and wide-eyed, perches upon a windowsill. Its tail flicks lazily as it surveys the street below. It blinks at you slowly, as though recognizing a familiar presence, then curls into itself once more. Somewhere, faint but distinct, music begins to play. A violin, practiced yet weary, carries through the thin walls of a nearby home. The melody is slow, tinged with longing, each note trembling slightly. It weaves through the fog like a thread of memory, catching your heart in its delicate pull. For a moment, it feels as though the entire city is listening too, pausing in its routine to hear that single voice. And still, the bell tolls, deep and sonorous. It rolls across the rooftops, marking the hour as it has done for centuries. The sound is steady, grounding, a reminder that time moves forward, but always with patience. Take a breath here. Feel the air in your lungs, the weight of time around you, the gentle steadiness of this place. You are not hurried. You are not burdened. You are simply here, an observer in a world that existed long before you and will continue long after. Your steps carry you deeper into the heart of the Victorian streets. You pass a narrow alley, its stones slick, its walls rising close on either side. A woman leans from a window above, shaking out a rug, tiny motes of dust tumbling like golden flecks in the soft light. Somewhere within the alley, a barrel tips over, and a stray dog darts out, nose low, tail wagging as it searches for scraps. You pause to notice the details. The wooden doors worn smooth by countless hands, the iron knockers shaped like lions and angels, the faint chalk markings of children's games sketched upon the pavement. Each detail whispers of the lives lived here, of ordinary souls moving through extraordinary times. The city is alive, yet hushed, both weary and hopeful, and you, drifting through it, feel yourself balanced between waking and dreaming. For tonight, you walk not only as yourself, but as one who listens to the past. You carry no burdens here, no worries of your own time. You are free to notice, to wander, to breathe with the city as it exhales the fog of another day. The Victorian streets stretch before you. The journey has only just begun. You walk further, leaving behind the quieter residential lanes where bakers, milkmen, and children begin their day. The cobblestones here grow darker, more worn, as though thousands of footsteps have pressed their weight into them. The fog lingers still, clinging to the stones, wrapping around your ankles like a slow-moving tide. Ahead, the outline of a larger building begins to take form. Its walls rise high, dark brick against the muted morning sky. It seems heavier than the surrounding houses, its lines straighter, its windows set evenly, repeating in rows without ornament. No shop signs hang from its doors. No curtains flutter playfully in the windows. It is different from the streets you have just left, starker, more imposing. This is the workhouse. You approach slowly, noticing how the atmosphere shifts as you draw closer. The scents in the air change. The sweetness of baking bread fades, replaced by something more neutral, like damp stone and old smoke. Even the sounds are different. The laughter of children from the alleyways has grown faint, replaced by the hollow echo of boots on stone, the dull clatter of a metal gate, the distant creak of hinges. Pause here for a moment. Let your eyes drift over its walls. They are tall, designed not only to enclose but to separate. Inside lies a world apart, a world where poverty is not only lived but contained, organized, and watched. For those who once stepped toward its gates, the workhouse represented both refuge and loss. Shelter, yes, but at the cost of freedom, dignity, and family. Yet in this sleep journey, there is no fear. You are safe here. You walk only as an observer, unseen, drifting gently at the edge of time. A small courtyard opens before the gate. Its paving stones are wet with mist. Along one wall, a pump stands where water drips steadily, gathering into a shallow puddle below. A young boy, thin and pale, fills a bucket slowly. His hands tremble with the cold, yet his movements are careful. He glances up only once, toward the looming door, before continuing in silence. The great door itself is wooden, bound with black iron. You hear the faintest sound of a latch turning within. Slowly, the hinges groan and the door opens inward. A figure emerges, a beadle, dressed in dark coat and hat, his keys jangling faintly at his side. His steps are steady, his gaze forward. He pauses briefly in the courtyard, scanning the space, before moving toward the outer gate. His presence is not cruel, yet not warm either. He is simply part of the order of this place, its structure, its rhythm. The door closes behind him, the sound reverberating through the courtyard like the heartbeat of the building itself. You linger, noticing more. To the left of the entrance, a small side door stands, its paint chipped, its handle worn by countless hands. A faint sound escapes from behind it, perhaps the stirring of voices or the scrape of wooden chairs. It is the sound of life carried on inside, organized into routines, kept to the strict timetables of the workhouse. Above, rows of narrow windows stare outward. Many are dark, though one flickers with faint lamplight, its glow softened by glass misted with condensation. You wonder who might sit there. Perhaps a clerk, tallying figures by candlelight, or a matron ensuring all is in order before the day begins. The glow is small but steady, a reminder that within these walls, the machinery of daily life is already in motion. As you stand before the workhouse, your senses attune to its stillness. Unlike the bustling market streets or the lively laughter of children, here there is a pause, a heaviness, as though time moves at a slower pace. Each sound, the drip of the pump, the distant clang of a gate, feels stretched, elongated, echoing longer than it should. This is not a place of comfort, yet in this dreamlike state it becomes softened. Its hard edges blur, its severity muted by the fog. You see not only the hardship, but the humanity within, the countless souls who once passed through these doors, each carrying their own stories, their own memories, their own hopes. Perhaps you hear them now faint as whispers, the shuffle of boots on stone, the rustle of skirts, the murmur of voices reciting prayers before breakfast, children's laughter, hushed quickly by the stern voice of a matron, the creak of benches, the scrape of tin bowls upon wooden tables, all softened, all blending into the rhythm of the building, into the rhythm of the city itself. You take a step closer. Your hand rests upon the cool iron of the gate. It feels steady, unmoving, its strength unyielding. Beyond lies the threshold into another world, a world both real and distant, both harsh and tender. Breathe here. Feel how your breath slows as you linger on the threshold. The city behind you, the workhouse before you. The journey deepens, but still you remain safe, calm, unburdened. Above, the sky lightens slowly, the fog lifting into pale strands. A church bell rings, its tone low and steady, announcing the hour. Its sound mingles with the life of the workhouse, with the distant clip of hooves upon stone, with the whisper of the breeze through the narrow streets. The morning has fully arrived now. The workhouse stands before you, not as a threat, but as a reminder of history's presence. These walls have witnessed thousands of lives, each passing quietly into memory. Yet for this night, for this journey, they exist only to cradle your imagination, to carry you deeper into calm, into stillness. The door remains closed, the gate steady, the courtyard quiet. You stand at the edge, listening, breathing, resting in the silence between sounds. When you are ready, you will step further. You will enter the workhouse itself, wandering its echoing halls, observing its routines, hearing the quiet rhythm of life inside. For now, let the image remain with you, the tall brick walls, the mist curling against stone, the sound of dripping water, the faint toll of the church bell. You are not hurried, you are safe. You are drifting, slowly, deeper into the past, deeper into rest. And ahead, the doors of the workhouse wait. The heavy door opens with a slow creak, and you step gently inside. The air changes immediately, cooler, quieter, carrying the faint mingling of stone, damp wood, and boiled grains. The noise of the city fades behind you, as though the very walls absorb its clamour. In its place comes a softer hum, footsteps echoing distantly down a corridor, the low murmur of voices, the occasional rattle of keys against iron. The hall you enter is wide and plain, its walls of pale plaster rising high. Light filters in from narrow windows set near the ceiling, casting long bars across the floor. Shadows stretch softly along the stone tiles, giving the space a rhythm of light and dark. There are no decorations here, no bright colours. Everything is simple, measured, uniform. A wooden bench stands along one wall. On it rests a pile of folded garments, plain, coarse uniforms of dull cloth. A pair of boots sits beneath, their leather worn but serviceable. These garments were once given to new arrivals, exchanged for whatever clothes they wore upon entry. For many, it marked the moment their old life slipped away and their new one began, structured by the rules of the house. You move further, following the slow echo of your steps. The corridor leads into an open hall, larger now, where the ceiling rises high into beams. Here, long wooden tables stretch in neat rows, their surfaces marked with scratches from countless meals. Tin bowls rest stacked at one end, along with ladles and mugs. The faint scent of porridge lingers, though the meal is long finished. A few workers move quietly here, clearing away, wiping surfaces, stacking bowls upon a cart. Their movements are practiced, unhurried, blending seamlessly into the silence. Listen closely, and you might hear the echoes of mornings past, the scrape of benches, the murmur of voices rising in prayer before breakfast, the clink of spoons against tin. In this softened, dreamlike state, those sounds do not disturb. They weave gently into the calm rhythm of the house. a reminder of lives once lived in quiet endurance. To one side of the hall stands a great fireplace. Its embers glow faintly, releasing a thread of smoke into the chimney above. Here, warmth would have gathered on cold mornings, a comfort for weary hands stretched toward the flame. Even now, the heat lingers faintly, soft against your skin, balancing the chill of stone. A doorway opens beyond the hall, leading into another passage. You follow, your steps light, as though you drift rather than walk. The corridor narrows here, its walls closer, its ceiling lower. Doors line either side, each simple, each alike. One is slightly ajar, and you glance inside. Within is a small dormitory. Rows of narrow beds stretch against the walls, their frames wooden, their blankets rough but neatly folded. The air smells faintly of straw and soap. Though empty now, you can imagine the room once filled with quiet breathing, the soft shuffle of restless sleep, the gentle murmur of dreams shared in silence. Children, too, may have slept here, huddled close, whispering stories to one another before drifting into slumber. In this softened vision, their whispers feel not sad, but tender, a reminder of the resilience of young hearts, even in the hardest of places. You close the door gently and continue. The passage opens again, this time into a courtyard at the heart of the workhouse. The walls rise high on all sides, enclosing a square of stone paving where the morning light now filters down. A well stands at its centre, its handle worn smooth. The trickle of water echoes softly as a worker draws up a bucket. The sound blends with the distant call of a bird perched upon the wall above, a rare song slipping into this enclosed space. You pause here, feeling the air. It is fresher than inside, touched by sky and light, yet still held close by the tall brick walls. A sense of order lingers, as though every stone has its place, every sound its time. You breathe deeply, feeling your breath slow, your body soften, as the courtyard stillness seeps into you. From here, a staircase leads upward. Its steps are stone, worn in the center by countless feet. You ascend slowly, each step measured, each movement gentle. At the top, a landing opens into a gallery that overlooks the hall below. The view stretches wide, revealing the symmetry of the space, the quiet geometry of its lines. From here you glimpse more rooms, an office with shelves of ledgers, their spines marked with careful ink, a small chamber where sewing is done, spools of thread resting in neat rows. Each space carries its own rhythm, its own quiet hum of life. You linger at the window. Outside, the city's fog is lifting now, revealing chimneys, rooftops, and spires. Yet here, within these walls, time feels slower, softer, as though the workhouse exists in its own separate world. The bell tolls again in the distance, its sound carried faintly through the air. It signals the passing of another hour, a rhythm to which the house itself bends. Tasks change with its sound, meals given, chores begun, prayers spoken. For those within, the bell was both guide and boundary, shaping the day into clear divisions. Yet for you, in this journey, the bell's tone is simply soothing, a slow, steady pulse, reminding you of time's gentle flow. You descend again, returning to the hall, then to the entrance. The door remains steady, closed now, its iron cool, its wood silent. You look once more at the folded garments, the empty bowls, the long benches. They are quiet now, yet they hold the memory of countless lives, and you realize, as you stand here, that the workhouse is not only brick and stone. It is memory, it is history woven into silence, a vessel holding the stories of those who came seeking shelter, those who endured, those who carried hope even when little remained. For tonight, you carry none of their burdens. You move only as a guest, a listener, a dreamer wandering softly through the halls of the past. Each detail you've seen, each sound you've heard, is a thread in the tapestry of history, weaving you gently deeper into stillness. The workhouse quiets again around you. Shadows lengthen across the floor. The last echoes fade. It is time now to leave this space behind, to carry with you only the calm, the rhythm, the stillness. The door opens once more, the morning light spilling in. You step softly into it, the air fresh against your skin. The world of the workhouse rests behind you, fading slowly, gently, like a dream at the edge of sleep. The day begins slowly, with the soft spill of light seeping through tall, narrow windows. You find yourself standing in the courtyard once again, the air cool and touched with dew. A faint mist clings to the cobblestones, curling in thin ribbons around the base of the well. Overhead, the sky stretches pale, washed with the gentle colours of dawn. The workhouse stirs quietly. From beyond the walls, a bell rings, its tones steady, deep and calming. It marks the beginning of the day, and though it carries command, there is no urgency in its sound for you. Instead, it feels almost like a heartbeat, steady and grounding, drawing you further into the rhythm of this world. A door opens nearby, and figures begin to emerge. They are dressed plainly, their uniforms simple, their steps measured. Among them is a young boy, thin, sharp-eyed, carrying a bundle of kindling in his arms. His name drifts softly into your mind, as though whispered by history itself. Thomas, a child of the workhouse, not more than 10 or 11 years of age. For Thomas, this morning is like countless others. He has been here long enough that the routine feels natural, though it is not without hardship. Yet, in his quiet resilience, there is a kind of strength, a whisper of endurance that becomes the thread through which you will glimpse the day. You walk beside him now, unseen as he makes his way toward the kitchen hall. The stones echo beneath his boots, their rhythm soft and even. He pushes open the door, and you follow into the warmth of the kitchen. Inside, the air is rich with the scent of boiling oats. Large cauldrons rest upon the hearth, steam rising from their rims in gentle clouds. The walls are darkened from years of smoke, yet the glow of the fire brings a comforting warmth. Workers move carefully, stirring with long wooden paddles, portioning porridge into rows of tin bowls that clatter softly upon wooden tables. Thomas sets down his bundle of kindling, adding it to the small stack near the fireplace. He takes a bowl and carries it carefully, his hands wrapped around the tin, the steam curling against his cheeks. Around him, others do the same. Men, women, and children, each quiet, each patient, forming a subdued procession. You watch as they sit along the benches. The meal is plain, but it fills the air with a rhythm. The scrape of spoons, the sigh of breath, the occasional quiet word exchanged in hushed tones. For you, the sound is almost musical, a soft symphony of daily ritual. A woman near the end of the table whispers gently to a child beside her, guiding the spoon to small lips. Across the hall, 2 older men exchange a glance, their movements slow, weathered hands steady. The workhouse meal is not abundant, yet it carries its own kind of ceremony. Shared, communal, ordered. Thomas eats quietly, spooning the warm porridge with care. His eyes drift to the windows, where pale sunlight filters through, painting the hall in long golden stripes. The light touches the rough wooden floor, the faces bent over their bowls, the steam rising in delicate spirals. You take in every detail, the taste of oats, plain yet filling, the smell of firewood and grain, the The texture of stone walls cool to the touch. Every sense draws you deeper, grounding you in the moment, yet softening your thoughts, easing them toward quiet calm. When the bowls are empty and the tables cleared, the sound of the bell rings again. The tone is steady, guiding. It is time for work to begin. In the workhouse, each person has a task. Some spin wool, their hands moving rhythmically at spindles. Others sew garments, needles flashing gently in the light. In another room, men break stones into smaller pieces, the crack of iron echoing faintly. Each sound layers into a slow rhythm. Tap, scrape, rustle, stir. Never hurried, never loud, simply steady. You follow Thomas again as he joins a group of boys in the yard. Their task is simple, to sort scraps of rope into strands, a labour known as picking oakum. The coarse fibres scratch at their small hands, but they work patiently, their movements repetitive, almost meditative. For you, watching, the task carries no weight. Instead, it feels like a kind of mantra. The slow pull of fibres, the soft pile growing beside them, the rustle of rope as it unravels. Time drifts gently here, measured not in minutes but in movements, each one the same as the last. As Thomas works, his gaze occasionally drifts upward. The courtyard opens to the sky, where clouds drift slowly past, their edges glowing with the rising sun. Perhaps he dreams quietly as he works, imagining places beyond the walls, fields of green, the bustle of city streets, ships rocking in a harbour. You too are carried by those thoughts, imagining landscapes near and far, drawn by the quiet pulse of history. The morning passes in this slow rhythm. You drift from room to room, observing without effort. In one chamber, women's voices murmur softly as they sew, the sound rising and falling like waves. In another, the clatter of tools blends with the low hum of voices. Children whisper quietly as they work, their words like the rustling of leaves. Everywhere, the same sense of order, of structure, of calm repetition. Though the workhouse was meant to discipline and contain, in this softened journey it becomes something else, a rhythm of sound and silence, a gentle lullaby woven into the fabric of daily life. As the hours pass, the light shifts. Shadows lengthen across the floors, beams of sun warming patches of stone. Dust motes float lazily in the air, catching the light, drifting slowly, like tiny golden stars suspended in the stillness. The bell tolls once more, and work pauses. It is midday now, and a meal waits again in the hall. The cycle continues, calm and unbroken, each phase flowing softly into the next. The hours of the morning slip by slowly, and as the sound of the workhouse bell strikes again, the day moves into its quieter middle. You can almost imagine yourself standing in the long, echoing corridor, the stone floor cool beneath your feet, the walls pale and bare except for the faint shadow of barred windows that let in the grey daylight. The rhythm of labour has softened into something steady, almost meditative. It is midday now, and in the great dining hall the workers are gathered once more. Their wooden bowls are set before them, filled with broth, thin enough that the surface reflects the dim light above. A crust of bread rests at the edge of the dish. The hall is hushed, save for the clinking of spoons and the occasional cough. The food is plain, but there is comfort in its warmth. As you listen, you may notice how the sound of eating blends into a kind of lull, steady, predictable, soothing in its repetition. The rules of silence remain, yet the atmosphere feels softer here than during labour. Even in hardship, there is a rhythm, a sense of order that can almost be restful to observe. When the meal ends, The bowls are collected, stacked neatly, their weight echoing faintly as they are carried back to the kitchen. You follow, drifting into that warmer space. The air here is thick with the scent of boiling potatoes and soap. The kitchen is not grand, but it is the heart of the workhouse, and its fires keep the whole building alive. Steam curls upward, softening the edges of everything, turning the world into mist. In one corner, women bend over great cauldrons, stirring slowly, while others scrub heavy pans until they shine faintly in the muted light. Laundry waits in another chamber, and here the air is damp and warm. Shirts and sheets, rough and heavy, are pulled through water, wrung tightly, then hung up to dry in rows that sway like pale flags. The splash of water and the rhythmic turning of hands create a steady, hypnotic soundscape, endless and lulling. You might imagine yourself moving between these rooms, pausing to feel the cool dampness of cloth or the rising steam against your skin. The corridors of the workhouse branch like rivers, each path leading to another quiet scene of labour. You follow the sound of brushes on stone, and soon find men scrubbing long corridors until they gleam faintly. Each movement is slow, deliberate, and repeated countless times. Amid this sea of labour, you notice Thomas, the young boy who has guided your attention since morning. He is set once again to the task of oakum picking, a pile of coarse rope fibres before him. His fingers work patiently, separating the strands, smoothing them into smaller threads. The work is tedious, yet Thomas has found his own rhythm. He hums faintly, though sound is not permitted, and in his mind perhaps he wanders far from these walls. You might see him glance up once or twice toward the high window above, its light falling like a pale square on the floor. Through that patch of sky he imagines freedom. The afternoon lingers on with its repetitions. Every corner of the workhouse has its own labour. In one space, women bend over long tables, their hands moving through piles of laundry. In another, older men chip at stone or mend shoes worn down by endless walking. Each sound, a scrape, a clatter, a splash, becomes part of the larger symphony of the building. The architecture of the workhouse itself begins to speak. Its walls are tall, austere and bare, meant to strip away individuality. Yet, as you drift through the halls in your imagination, you notice small details that bring a quiet beauty. The light through the barred windows falls in straight golden lines that shift slowly as the day moves on. The smell of damp stone mixes with coal dust, yet also with the faint sweetness of bread still baking in the ovens. You find yourself standing at the far end of a corridor. The echo of footsteps here is long and slow, as though each sound is stretched by the vast emptiness. Doors line the walls, some leading to dormitories, others to storerooms, others still to workrooms where labour continues quietly. Each door opens not to chaos, but to another slow ritual, another rhythm of work that feels strangely steady. Thomas shifts on his bench, resting his small hands. His back is sore, his eyes heavy, but in his imagination he is elsewhere. Perhaps he dreams of ships, for the oakum he picks was once part of ropes that held sails across the sea. In his mind, he stands on a harbour, watching great vessels depart for far-off lands. His daydream becomes yours too, and for a moment the workhouse fades, replaced by the gentle rocking of water, the gulls circling above, and the soft sound of waves against wood. The overseer's presence draws him back, yet the moment of escape lingers quietly in his heart. He lowers his head again and returns to work, fingers moving steadily. As the afternoon deepens, the light shifts once more. Shadows stretch across the stone floors, and the cool air of the morning begins to thicken with the warmth of bodies and fires. Work continues, but there is a softness in the air, a sense that the long hours are moving toward their close. The sounds become gentler, slower, as if even the workhouse itself begins to grow weary. You follow Thomas as he finishes his task for the day. His pile of oakum is smaller now, his hands tired, but there is relief in knowing that the end is near. Across the building, the overseers call for the final tidying of tools and the sweeping of floors. Water is carried out, ashes cleared, benches straightened. The building begins to settle, like a great beast easing into rest. You pause once more in the corridor, watching the last of the afternoon light stretch across the walls. The shadows are long now, softening the hard edges of stone and wood. The silence grows heavier, and though the labor has been endless, there is peace in its end. Slowly, the day bends toward evening. The bell will ring again soon, calling everyone together for supper, and the workhouse will shift into its nightly rhythm. For now, though, there is a stillness in the air, as though time itself has slowed to allow you to rest. You breathe deeply here, letting the coolness of stone and the faint scent of wood smoke fill your imagination. The afternoon has passed, and the workhouse grows quieter still. The slow hours of afternoon settle into quiet. The bell tolls once more, its sound carrying through every corridor, each strike echoing until it dissolves into silence. Evening has arrived in the workhouse. You follow the crowd as they move again into the great dining hall. The air here is dimmer now, lit by the last threads of daylight slanting through the high windows. Wooden bowls and spoons are laid out in rows, and the workers sit, waiting in stillness. Supper is much like breakfast. Simple, plain, a repetition of broth, bread, and perhaps a thin slice of cheese if fortune allows. The sound of eating is hushed, almost reverent, as though everyone is too tired to speak even if words were permitted. The meal does not last long. Hunger makes the food vanish quickly, and soon the bowls are gathered, stacked neatly, and carried away. The hall empties, and the sound of shuffling footsteps echoes back into the long corridors. Supper has ended, and the building begins its transition toward rest. Yet even in this time, work lingers. The kitchen must be cleaned, the fires damped, and the last of the laundry brought in from the lines. The corridors are swept once more, brooms whispering against stone floors. Coal scuttles are filled in readiness for the next day. The sounds are softer now, but they remain steady, a final rhythm before stillness. Thomas, weary from the day, carries a small pail of water along the hall. His steps are slow, his hands trembling slightly from fatigue, but there is no complaint. He has grown used to the weight of labor, though his body is still young. You watch him place the pail down with care, wipe his hands on his rough trousers, and then stand waiting for the overseer's nod of dismissal. When it comes, he breathes out quietly, relief washing over him. At last, the time for rest arrives. The dormitories open, their doors groaning softly on their hinges. Men and boys are guided one way, women and girls another. The rooms are long and narrow, filled with rows of wooden beds lined close together. Straw mattresses lie atop them, coarse blankets folded at their ends. The air inside is cool, tinged with the smell of straw and damp wool. You step inside, noticing how each bed looks the same, how every space is stripped of individuality. Yet there is comfort here too, in the order, in the sense that all are equal in their exhaustion. The murmurs of shuffling feet grow softer, replaced by the creak of wood as bodies settle into place. Thomas finds his bed, a narrow wooden frame with a thin blanket. He lowers himself carefully, his small body curling into the straw. His eyes are heavy, but before sleep claims him, he stares upward at the dark beams above. Perhaps he thinks of his family, long separated from him. Perhaps he imagines another life, one beyond the workhouse walls. His thoughts drift like smoke, fragile but persistent. You linger in the room, listening to the symphony of settling. Straw rustles as people shift. A cough echoes from one corner. Someone sighs, long and slow. The overseer makes one last walk down the aisle, lantern in hand, its golden light stretching across faces before fading into darkness. When the lantern is removed, night falls fully, leaving only the faint glow of moonlight through the high windows. Outside, the world grows still. The clatter of the day has ended, replaced by the soft hush of evening. Beyond the workhouse walls, the streets of the Victorian town are quiet too. A cart wheels by in the distance, its wooden wheels rumbling faintly before fading away. A dog barks once, then silence returns. Even the air feels heavier, holding you in its calm embrace. Back within the dormitory, breathing slows. The sound of dozens of weary bodies falling into slumber becomes a lullaby of its own. The rhythm of inhales and exhales is steady, soothing, and you find yourself moving in sync with it. Thomas drifts between wakefulness and dreams. He imagines himself once more at the harbour, the ships swaying against the water, their sails bright against the fading sun. In his dream, he is free, running down the dock with laughter in his voice. The harsh walls of the workhouse dissolve, replaced by the endless horizon. Even here, in a place of hardship, his mind finds its escape. You too are invited into that dream. The workhouse fades from your senses. You are carried out into the night, the cool air brushing against your face, the stars overhead scattered like silver dust. The world is vast, the horizon endless, and you drift along its edge with ease. But still, part of you lingers in the workhouse, listening to the gentle hum of night. The building itself seems to breathe now, settling after its long day. The stone walls are cool, the wooden beams creak softly, and the silence between each sound is wide and deep. The atmosphere is not heavy but calming, as though the hardships of the day are softened by the quiet gift of rest. Time moves slowly here. Minutes stretch like hours, yet they pass without notice. One by one, the sounds of the dormitory fade until all that remains is stillness. Even Thomas has given in to sleep, his small body rising and falling with the rhythm of his breath. You stand once more in the corridor, gazing at the closed doors. Behind them, lives are resting, dreams unfolding. The harshness of reality momentarily replaced by the gentleness of sleep. And you too are invited to drift further into that quiet, to let go of the day's weight, and to follow the workhouse into its night. The evening is complete. The long hours of labour have ended. Silence now reigns. You leave behind the workhouse, its echoes of footsteps and whispers slowly fading into the night air. The heavy wooden doors close behind you with a dull thud, and for a moment you stand in the cool silence of the Victorian city streets. The lamps burn low, their glass globes glowing softly with the flicker of gaslight. Shadows stretch long and thin across the cobblestones, creating a delicate play of light and dark that seems to dance gently, swaying with the faintest evening breeze. The city feels hushed now, as though it has tucked itself into a quieter rhythm, preparing for slumber. Carriages rattle distantly, their wheels softened by the dampness of the street, while the steady strike of a night watchman's staff against the paving stones marks the passing of time. Each sound seems far away, softened, as though you are listening through layers of velvet. You begin to walk, and the path leads you toward a building of striking presence. A large administrative hall, a kind of palace of record-keeping and order. Though not gilded or ornate like the castles of fairy tales, it carries its own weight of authority. Its tall windows are dark now, their frames lined with soot from years of coal smoke. But even in silence, the structure radiates importance. The carved stone pillars rise from the steps like watchful sentinels, their surfaces smoothed by decades of weather, their bases chipped from countless feet that have hurried up and down during the day. Inside, the building is hushed. The thick oak doors swing inward with effort, their hinges releasing a low, drawn-out groan. Within, the atmosphere is cool, tinged with the faint scent of ink and paper, a lingering fragrance of record-keeping that seems eternal. The high ceilings echo with the slightest shuffle of your steps, and the gas lamps along the walls flicker dimly, casting soft halos of gold upon pale plaster. As you drift slowly forward, your eyes trace the long wooden desks arranged in rows, each one holding neat stacks of parchment and bound ledgers. During the day, clerks and scribes would bend over these desks, quills scratching steadily across the surface, recording births, deaths, marriages, transactions, tiny marks that formed the great tapestry of society. But now all is still. The ink bottles are corked, the quills neatly placed in holders, as though the desks themselves are sleeping, waiting for the next day's work to begin. You imagine what it might have been like here at the height of activity, the creak of chair legs, the shuffling of papers, the whispered exchanges between clerks as they consulted records. The Victorian world was built not only by labourers in factories and farmers in the fields, but also by these quiet keepers of information. They tracked every child who entered the workhouse, every pound of coal purchased for the poor, every shilling spent in relief. Their pen strokes were the unseen scaffolding of society, delicate but essential. You walk further into the hall. The lamps grow fewer, the shadows longer, until you reach a side corridor. It stretches narrow and tall, the walls lined with filing cabinets made of iron and wood. Each drawer holds fragments of lives now long gone, applications for assistance, records of orphans, lists of rations distributed during cold winters. The air feels thicker here, as though the quiet itself carries the weight of memory. At the end of the corridor lies a smaller chamber, almost like a reading room. You pause here. A single lamp burns low, its light steady and calm. A large desk sits at the centre, its surface worn smooth by the elbows of generations of clerks. On one corner rests a brass inkwell, and beside it, a ledger still lies open, its last entry written in tidy cursive. The ink has dried long ago, yet the marks remain, sharp and dark, a frozen echo of a hand that once moved swiftly across the page. You lean closer, not to read, but simply to feel the presence of history. There is something soothing in the rhythm of the handwriting, the gentle curve of letters, the consistent flow. It speaks of patience, of routine, of the slow and steady heartbeat of a system that carried on year after year. The hum of human life, reduced to marks on paper, now resting quietly in the shadows. You sink into a chair, its wood creaking softly under your weight. From here, the room feels even more timeless, as though the very air resists rushing forward. You imagine a clerk from a century and a half ago sitting here late at night, perhaps finishing a final page by lamplight. Outside, the city would have rumbled with the noise of carriages and footsteps, but within these walls, only the scratching of a quill disturbed the silence. That gentle, steady sound, the rhythm of work and order, becomes easy to imagine, and it almost feels like a lullaby now, faint, repetitive, soothing. As you sit, your gaze lifts upward. The ceiling is high, with dark beams stretching across its width. Cobwebs glisten faintly in the lamplight, delicate threads that have survived unnoticed, quietly weaving their own records of time. Each corner of the room carries a shadow, not heavy or threatening, but soft, like the folds of a dark curtain draped gently across the past. The longer you remain, the more the building itself feels alive, not with noise, but with presence. The stone walls seem to breathe slowly, exhaling the cool scent of age. The wood of the desks carries the faint warmth of all the hands that touched it. The papers, though silent, seem to whisper softly, their fibres holding onto stories too fragile to be spoken aloud. And so you linger. There is no hurry here, no urgency, only stillness. The quiet is not empty, but full of memory, of history, of time stretched gently across centuries. When you finally rise, your steps echo softly in the corridor, blending with the flicker of gaslight. You move back toward the main hall, where the great doors wait. As you step out once more into the cool night air, the silence follows you, clinging softly like a shawl around your shoulders. The building remains behind you, still and watchful, its windows dark, its stories resting peacefully in drawers and ledgers. You leave it standing in the lamplight, a palace not of jewels and gold, but of ink and paper, of order and memory. And now the street opens before you again. Somewhere in the distance, the river murmurs, drawing you forward. The next part of your journey awaits, toward water, reflection, and the soft embrace of night. The streets grow quieter as you walk, each step drawing you nearer to the soft, persistent murmur of the river. Its voice reaches you first as a faint hum, almost like the breathing of the city itself. Steady, constant, timeless. The lamps grow sparser here, and soon you find yourself guided less by their glow and more by the silvery shimmer of moonlight reflecting across wet cobblestones. The path dips downward, sloping gently toward the water. The air changes too. It becomes cooler, touched with a faint dampness, carrying the mineral scent of stone, the earthy fragrance of riverbanks, and the distant sweetness of smoke from homes still burning their last coals of the night. You pause for a moment, letting the cool air brush against your cheeks, letting the sound of the river grow clearer, its ripples, its currents, its steady whisper. Soon, the open space widens before you, and there it is, the great river itself, stretching wide and dark beneath the Victorian night sky. The moonlight spreads across its surface in trembling bands of silver, each ripple catching the light like a piece of soft metal. The current flows with patience, never hurried, never stopping. Barges drift slowly, their shadows long and still, moored to the banks until dawn calls them back into movement. You step closer to the water's edge. Wooden posts rise from the mud, thick and weathered, their surfaces glossy from decades of tides. Ropes are tied around them in heavy knots, their strands stiff with salt and time. The river has seen countless lives pass by. Fishermen hauling their nets, merchants shouting over goods, children laughing as they toss stones into the shallows. But tonight it is quiet. Tonight, the river feels like a lullaby, cradling the city in its calm rhythm. A faint creak drifts through the air, the sound of a moored boat shifting gently against the current. The wood groans as if in its own sleep, adjusting, relaxing. Farther along the bank, a lantern sways from a mast, its small flame casting a warm glow across the rippling water. The reflection trembles and stretches, like liquid fire moving with the tide. You pause to watch it, feeling time slow further, as though your breath has found the same rhythm as the river itself. In Victorian days, the river was both life and burden. It carried coal, timber, and food into the heart of the city. It bore away refuse, ashes, and waste. It was a place of labour, of trade, of ceaseless movement. And yet, in the quiet hours of night, all of that faded. The river became something else, something eternal, a reminder that beneath the rush of human industry, nature's flow endured, slow and steady. You imagine workers from long ago, their voices still echoing faintly in the dark. Men unloading sacks from barges, the thud of cargo dropped onto wooden planks. Women washing clothes at the banks earlier in the day, their hands red from the cold water, the fabric slapping rhythmically as they worked. All of it gone now, replaced by silence. The river keeps its own counsel at night, holding those memories close, whispering them softly into its currents. You find a wooden bench near the water, its iron legs rooted firmly into the stone. The seat is cool, slightly damp, but inviting. You sit, and the world seems to open wider. Across the river, the outline of warehouses and factories rise dark against the sky, their tall chimneys like thin fingers pointing upward. During the day, smoke would have poured from them in great billows, but now they stand quiet, their fires banked, their windows blank. In the stillness, they resemble silent guardians, watching over the sleeping water. The sky above stretches vast and calm. A few stars peek through the haze of coal dust air, glimmering faintly, fragile but enduring. The moon hangs higher now, pale and round, its glow softening every edge. Even the harsh lines of warehouses and cranes seem gentler beneath its light, transformed into silhouettes rather than structures. You let your eyes follow the river's path as it curves away, slipping into darkness, disappearing into the horizon. How many dreams are begun upon these waters? Ships departing for distant ports, carrying letters, goods, and hopes. Families watching from the banks, waving handkerchiefs as their loved ones drifted away. All of it absorbed into the flow, carried onward, forgotten and remembered all at once. The rhythm of the water grows hypnotic. You can hear its layers, the low, steady current pressing against the bank, the small ripples slapping gently against wooden posts, the occasional drip as water slides off stone into the depths below. Each sound is soft, measured, repetitive, like the ticking of a great clock, reminding you that night moves forward, slow but certain. You lean back against the bench. The coolness of the air settles around you like a shawl, and you close your eyes for a moment, letting sound replace sight. The river hums steadily. Somewhere a gull cries faintly, its wings cutting through the night before fading into silence. Farther off, a bell tolls the hour, low and resonant, its chime drifting across the water like a wave. When you open your eyes again, the lantern on the moored boat is still swaying, its light softer now, as though the flame has grown tired. The reflection shimmers, breaking into fragments across the current. Tiny sparks dancing briefly before dissolving into shadow. The sight is soothing, almost like watching a candle burn lower and lower, easing you deeper into calm. In the Victorian world, the river was a boundary between labour and dream, between the noise of day and the quiet of night. And here you are now, sitting at its edge, listening, breathing, resting. The harshness of the workhouse, the weight of stone halls, the strictness of records, all of it feels far behind you. The river has washed it gently away, leaving only calm, only quiet. You rise at last, slowly, stretching as though you too are part of the night easing itself into stillness. Your footsteps echo lightly on the stone path as you walk along the river's edge. Each step feels softer now, as though the ground itself has grown gentle. The water follows you with its murmur, a constant companion. Ahead, the path begins to climb again, leading you away from the river, toward open ground where the city thins and the horizon expands. The sky grows wider with each step, the stars clearer, the air cooler. Soon the river is behind you, its song still lingering faintly in your ears, like a lullaby that continues even when you are no longer listening. The journey carries you onward, into the vastness of night where sky and silence await. The path rises gently as you leave the riverside behind. Each step carries you upward, away from the damp air of the water, toward open ground where the city loosens its grip and the horizon stretches wider. The stone beneath your feet grows drier, smoother, as though the earth itself is guiding you toward rest. Before long, the noises of the city fade almost completely. No creak of boats, no faint call of traders finishing their work, no echo of footsteps on cobbles. Instead, there is only stillness, broken softly by the brush of wind weaving through sparse grass, the sigh of the night easing itself into silence. You pause, letting the cool air drift across your face, and when you look upward, the sky reveals itself in all its quiet splendor. Above you, the dome of night stretches vast and endless. The coal smoke that lingered over the city has thinned here, and the stars appear more freely, delicate pinpricks of light scattered across the heavens. Some shine faintly, almost shy, while others glow with a steadier presence, brighter and more assured. The moon sits proudly among them, its pale light soft and constant, casting long silver shadows across the ground. You tilt your head back and breathe, feeling the immensity of the sky. In the Victorian age, before electricity brightened every street, the night sky was a companion most people knew well. Children would gaze upward from narrow courtyards, tracing patterns their parents taught them. Sailors relied on constellations to guide them safely across oceans, each star a trusted signpost in the dark. Poets wrote of the heavens as endless fields of mystery, places where dreams and faith intertwined. And tonight, you stand among those same stars, listening to their silence, letting them lead you deeper into calm. The longer you watch, the more you notice. Some stars twinkle rapidly, like tiny lanterns flickering in the breeze. Others glow steady, their light traveling across centuries to meet your eyes in this moment. You recall that even in the workhouse, children might sometimes glimpse the night sky through a narrow window, finding comfort in the thought that something vast and eternal lay beyond the walls. The stars offered what the workhouse could not: a sense of endlessness, of possibility, of wonder untouched by rules or records. You take a slow breath, and as you do, you imagine the stars speaking, not in words, but in presence. Their stillness tells you that there is no need to hurry, no need to strain. They remind you that time itself moves in cycles, and that all things, even hardship, eventually soften into quiet. The wind brushes gently against your hair, carrying with it the faintest scent of earth and grass. You lower yourself onto a patch of ground, cool but firm, the blades of grass bending softly beneath you. From here, lying back, the sky feels even larger, as if it has opened itself just for you. The world of the workhouse, of labour and duty, slips away fully now, and you are left only with the steady rhythm of your breathing and the patient light of the stars. One by one, constellations reveal themselves. You trace their lines slowly with your eyes, as though drawing them across the canvas of the night. Perhaps you find Orion, his belt a simple row of 3 stars glowing in perfect sequence. Or perhaps the Great Bear, its shape guiding sailors and wanderers alike. Each star is a fragment of history, a witness to countless generations who have gazed upward just as you do now. In ancient times, people wove myths around these constellations, stories of gods, heroes, and lovers placed forever in the heavens. By Victorian nights, the same stars were studied through telescopes, their patterns mapped carefully, their mysteries slowly unravelled. And yet, even with greater knowledge, the wonder remained. The sky is both eternal and intimate. Its vastness reminds you of how small you are, yet its beauty feels deeply personal, as though it exists just for you in this moment of stillness. The longer you watch, the softer everything becomes. Your breath deepens, your body eases into the earth beneath you. Your thoughts, once busy, now drift like clouds across the horizon of your mind, slow and effortless. A shooting star arcs suddenly across the darkness, a quick and silent flame. It appears and vanishes in the span of a heartbeat, yet its glow lingers in your vision, leaving behind a trace of wonder. In Victorian times, people would make wishes upon such moments, believing that brief flash of light carried their hopes upward into the heavens. Perhaps you make a quiet wish yourself, not spoken aloud, but felt deep within your chest, soft and simple. The stars receive it gently, holding it among their endless light. The night grows cooler, but the air is kind. It wraps around you like a blanket, not heavy, not sharp, only soothing. The stars continue their patient vigil, steady and bright. Somewhere in the distance, an owl calls once, then falls silent. The land holds its breath, waiting, resting. As you watch, you realize that sleep itself is like the night sky. It arrives gently, quietly, spreading wider and wider until it covers you completely. Thoughts become like stars, each one glowing faintly before drifting farther away, until all that remains is stillness, vast and calm. You are part of that sky now, weightless, endless, at peace. The moon watches over you, its light like a soft guardian. It does not hurry you, does not demand. It simply glows, steady and constant, a companion for as long as you need. The stars glimmer faintly around it, as though nodding, as though agreeing. This is the time for rest, for quiet, for dreams. You close your eyes at last, though the stars remain behind your eyelids, their light imprinted softly in your mind. You carry them with you as you drift further inward, their calm, their silence, their eternity. And as you breathe, slow and deep, you feel the journey softening once more, away from rivers, away from streets, away from history itself, into the boundless night of sleep. The streets outside the workhouse are quiet now. Long ago, they would have carried the hurried steps of those going about their daily tasks. Children weaving between the legs of adults, and the distant clatter of carts over cobblestone. Tonight, the same streets are still, bathed in moonlight, and the faint wind carries only the memory of voices and the soft sigh of history. You breathe slowly, feeling the air fill your lungs, and as you exhale, you imagine the laughter and chatter that once filled the alleyways, now settled into silence. The buildings of the workhouse, tall and stern, rise in your mind with gentle solidity. Their walls, once harsh in appearance, now seem softened by time, their shadows long and quiet beneath the stars. You can picture the families and children who once moved within, their lives marked by routine, endurance, and resilience. You feel a quiet connection with them, a shared understanding of the small joys found even in hard days, a warm acknowledgement that despite hardship, human spirit persisted. Walking slowly through this imagined town, you pass the narrow windows of cottages and workshops, each one holding faint echoes of the past. You might hear the rustle of a curtain or the creak of a door long unused, and you allow yourself to pause and listen. Each sound is gentle, unhurried, a whisper from history meant to soothe rather than startle. The streets themselves seem to exhale along with you, encouraging the quiet rhythm of your body, matching your slow, even breathing. The memories of life within the workhouse settle softly around you, not as harsh reminders but as gentle stories. You imagine children seated in rows for lessons, their small hands clutching pencils, heads bent over slates, faces intent with focus. The teachers' voices, patient and calm, drift in your mind like a lullaby. Each word, carefully spoken, resonates with care and persistence, carrying with it the echoes of generations that survived through discipline and quiet determination. You allow yourself to feel a gentle compassion for these lives, a calm admiration that warms your heart as you inhale deeply. Outside, the faint scent of the earth and the distant gardens mingles with the imagined aroma of warm bread and tea from the kitchens. These simple comforts, small but significant, seem to bridge centuries. You notice them, inhaling slowly, letting them ground you in the moment while also carrying you back to a time when such modest pleasures meant everything. The aroma is soft, soothing, a sensory thread tying past to present, and you follow it without urgency, letting it guide your thoughts toward peaceful reflection. As you continue through the quiet town, you see a courtyard where children once played in the late afternoon, their laughter bouncing off stone walls. The echoes of their games seem suspended in the air, not fleeting but lingering, like a delicate melody. You close your eyes briefly and imagine joining them, walking slowly among them, noticing the textures of their clothing, the softness of the ground beneath small feet, the cool shadows stretching across the walls. This gentle journey does not demand action, only presence, only awareness of the life that once thrived here, the life that shaped the history you now drift through. Further along, you come to the edge of a garden, the flowers long since withered in winter, yet still leaving faint impressions of colour and life. You pause to observe the neat rows where vegetables were once tended, imagining the careful hands that planted, watered, and harvested. Even in hardship, there was care, patience, and the quiet satisfaction of a day's work completed. You allow these impressions to wash over you, feeling their steady, calming rhythms settle within your own body. Each movement you imagine is slow and deliberate, echoing the natural tempo of your own heartbeat. Above you, the stars begin to peek through the clouds, tiny points of light that remind you of the constancy of the world, of the slow, steady passage of time. You notice that no matter the hardships of history, the sky has always been there, watching, offering solace and perspective. You breathe with the rhythm of the night, inhaling the calm, exhaling the tension, letting the vastness of the heavens remind you that life flows in cycles, that every day ends in quiet, that every hardship eventually softens into memory. And as the night stretches on, you begin to feel a connection not only with the lives that once filled the workhouse, but with the larger, enduring story of humanity. You imagine the countless souls who have walked these streets, some suffering, some laughing, some dreaming, all leaving subtle impressions on the world. You allow your mind to rest on that knowledge, feeling both the weight and the gentle beauty of history. Each pause you take, each breath you draw, brings a little more peace, a little more calm. The silence of the present wraps around you like a soft blanket, holding the echoes of the past safely, gently, allowing them to be observed without urgency or pain. You notice the way your body softens into the earth beneath you, how your shoulders release tension, how your eyelids grow heavy. The stories, the memories, the quiet reflections, they have done their work, allowing your mind and body to align with the calm, slow rhythm of the night. And so you rest here, breathing slowly, feeling the lingering presence of lives long past, allowing their stories to carry you further into tranquility. The workhouse, the streets, the gardens, the children, the gentle routines, all fold softly into memory, into imagination, into peace. You are both witness and participant, feeling the pulse of history and the quietude of the present intertwined. Part 2. Riverside Nostalgia. The river winds gently through the outskirts of the workhouse town, its surface reflecting the silver light of the moon. You imagine the water's quiet murmur, lapping softly against the banks, carrying stories from upriver and down as it has for centuries. The sound is steady and unhurried, a rhythm that invites you to slow your own heartbeat, to match your breath to the gentle flow of the water. Each inhalation draws in calm. Each exhalation releases tension, letting the river's timeless pace settle into your mind. Along the riverbank, the faint scent of damp earth and wildflowers drifts in the night air. You breathe it in deeply, feeling the coolness against your skin, imagining the gentle brush of the grass beneath your fingers as you trace the contours of the shore. Perhaps long ago, children from the workhouse came here to play in the summer months, their laughter mingling with the rustle of reeds and the soft cries of distant birds. Now the river holds only echoes, yet even these whispers carry the warmth of past days, gentle and comforting. You picture a small wooden dock, weathered and smooth, where small boats once rested. The creak of the planks underfoot is faint, a reminder of human presence long past. Perhaps a solitary fisherman rowed across the water, his oar cutting through the reflection of the moon, leaving ripples that shimmered before fading into stillness. You feel the calm of these movements, the meditative nature of work performed in quiet solitude, and you allow that sense of rhythm to align with your own body, slowing your mind and inviting peace. Across the river, the faint glow of lamps from distant homes punctuates the darkness, casting a soft, warm light on the water. You notice the contrast between the cool moonlight and the warm lanterns, and you pause, letting your thoughts drift slowly between these two gentle sources of illumination. Each glow represents life, warmth, and comfort, a subtle reminder that even in harsh times, small comforts offered safety and solace. You inhale that feeling, letting it settle deeply within, soothing every part of your body as your muscles relax further. The gentle rustle of trees along the riverbank adds a soft layer of sound, leaves whispering to one another in the night breeze. You imagine standing beneath them, letting the shadows dance across your shoulders as the wind passes by. Perhaps a soldier from the Civil War once paused here, watching the same river, seeking a moment of quiet reflection before the demands of the day. You allow yourself to inhabit that stillness with him, feeling the continuity of human experience, the shared search for calm in a world often filled with turmoil. The water itself seems to hold memories, reflecting not only the moon and lanterns, but the long passage of time. You can imagine it carrying fragments of the past, letters, small belongings, whispered words, floating slowly downstream, all absorbed into the endless flow. These imagined remnants create a tapestry of life and history, connecting you to the countless souls who have found solace at this river. You let this connection wrap around you, a gentle embrace from generations long gone, guiding you further into relaxation. Along the shore, small stones and pebbles glimmer faintly in the moonlight. You imagine picking one up, feeling its cool, smooth surface in your hand, and letting it rest lightly in your palm. Each stone is a fragment of the past, a tangible reminder of the enduring presence of history. You allow your fingers to trace its contours slowly, appreciating its quiet strength, and notice how each deliberate movement calms your mind, slowing racing thoughts and inviting serenity. The riverbank stretches endlessly, yet there is no rush, no pressure to move quickly. You walk along it at a measured pace, noticing the interplay of shadow and light, the gentle sounds of water and wind, the distant murmur of life that persists even in quiet nights. Each step is a meditation, each breath a rhythm in harmony with the natural world. The past and present blend, forming a peaceful continuum that allows your mind to drift, guided by the calm and steady flow of the river. As the night deepens, the moon climbs higher, casting a silvery glow over the water. Its reflection shimmers like liquid light, rippling softly with every gentle wave. You feel the glow warm your thoughts, illuminating memories with a soft, reassuring light. Even the harshness of the workhouse, the struggles and discipline, now seems softened in this reflective night. They become part of a larger story, one that includes resilience, endurance, and moments of quiet beauty. You let these reflections settle deeply, feeling a gentle weight of contentment and acceptance. And so, standing at the river's edge, breathing in the cool, scented air, you let your mind drift. The gentle current carries away tension. Your muscles continue to loosen, and your thoughts quiet into soft, undulating waves. The river, the moon, the shadows, and the distant lanterns all merge into a single, calming presence, enveloping you in a sense of security and peace. Here, beside this timeless flow, you feel the weight of history melt into serenity, guiding you slowly, gently, toward rest and deep, restorative sleep. As the night deepens, your gaze lifts to the sky above, where countless stars stretch across the heavens in serene constellations. Each star shines steadily, a quiet witness to the passage of time, and you feel yourself sinking further into calm, matching your breath to the slow, eternal rhythm of the universe. The distant sparkle reminds you of all the soldiers who once looked up at the same sky, drawing strength and comfort in moments of hardship, longing, or reflection. You imagine yourself among them, standing in silent awe, feeling the shared connection that transcends centuries. The stars seem to carry a soft glow, their light reflecting faintly upon the fields and forests below. You picture the campsite of a Civil War soldier, tents lined up quietly, fires now dim to embers, smoke curling lazily into the night. The hush of the night is deep and restorative. The world paused for a moment between the echo of battles and the quiet dawn that will follow. You inhale slowly, letting the serenity of this nocturnal landscape fill your lungs, and exhale, releasing any lingering tension. Perhaps there was a soldier who, after a long day of marching or tending to camp duties, paused beneath these same stars. He might have held a letter from home, feeling the fragile comfort of inked words against the silence of war. You imagine that same tenderness, the warmth of human connection persisting, despite the distance and the hardships. You allow yourself to absorb this memory, letting it gently weave a sense of calm and continuity around you. The field stretches infinitely under the starlit sky, each blade of grass still from the cool night breeze, each leaf a whisper of nature's quiet presence. You sense the gentle rustle of wind through trees, carrying with it the faint scent of soil, smoke, and dew. These familiar scents, combined with the soft light of the stars, create a meditative cocoon. Your body relaxes deeper into the rhythm, each exhale loosening muscles, each inhale bringing a sense of stillness and comfort. The battles of the past are no longer immediate. They exist now as quiet memories, traces of human resilience and courage. You imagine the weight carried by soldiers, the stories etched into their movements and routines, and yet you feel the gentleness of the night soothing these heavy thoughts. Here, there is no urgency, no chaos, only the peaceful companionship of history and the stars above. You let this awareness wash over you, letting your mind float with the soft glimmer of celestial light. Above, the constellations tell their quiet stories, Orion standing vigilant, the Big Dipper tracing its endless arc. You trace their paths slowly with your eyes, following the curves of the sky as if reading the universe itself. The same stars that guided travelers, watched over families, and offered solace in times of uncertainty, now illuminate your inner landscape. You feel a comforting symmetry between the cosmos and your own slowing heartbeat, a reminder that the flow of time continues gently, always. Memories of marches and military life, once so vivid and demanding, now blend with the timeless beauty of the heavens. You picture the soldiers' footsteps across fields, the careful tending of campfires, and the shared camaraderie under these vast skies. Each memory becomes a soft note in a quiet symphony, each reflection another gentle ripple in the river of thought. You breathe in deeply, letting each exhale carry away remnants of stress, tension, and worry. The cool night air brushes against your cheeks, carrying the scent of pine, earth, and distant smoke. You imagine leaning back, gazing fully at the star-strewn sky, and letting your thoughts wander lazily among the constellations. Perhaps a comet passes overhead, fleeting and luminous, a reminder of the impermanence and beauty of life. You allow the fleeting nature of the moment to settle into calm, feeling the gentle pull of relaxation deepen with each heartbeat. As your attention lingers on the stars, the weight of history softens. The struggles and sacrifices of the soldiers become part of a quiet, eternal narrative, a testament to endurance and humanity. You feel their presence in the stillness, not as a burden, but as a soft, reassuring echo of resilience. The stars above, constant and unwavering, mirror the calm strength now growing within you. You let the vast expanse of night envelop your senses, carrying you slowly towards serenity. Each star seems to breathe with you, each gentle twinkle a whisper of peace. Your body sinks deeper into comfort, your mind drifts further into quiet reflection, and a profound sense of calm settles over you. In this serene connection with the past, the universe, and yourself, sleep begins to feel like a natural continuation of the eternal rhythm above. As the night deepens, the echoes of history gradually soften into a profound silence. You imagine the empty streets where soldiers once marched, the abandoned campsites where tents once flapped in the wind. Though these spaces are quiet now, they carry the invisible imprint of countless footsteps, whispered conversations, and the fleeting laughter of those long gone. In this silence, there is a gentle sense of reverence, a peaceful pause in which the past seems to breathe alongside the present. The world has shifted. Fields that once rang with the clatter of boots and the murmur of orders are now calm, bathed in the subtle glow of moonlight. You picture yourself walking slowly along a familiar path, each step soft and unhurried, as if the ground itself welcomes your presence. The hush is soothing, a gentle balm that encourages your mind to release the day's distractions, allowing memories and imagination to float freely without strain. You reflect on the lives of the soldiers, their routines, and the choices that shaped each day. From dawn's first light, with mist hovering over the fields, to the quiet moments by the campfire as night fell, their days were full yet measured by patience, endurance, and duty. You imagine these routines as gentle waves, each action part of a larger rhythm that carried them forward, helping them survive and find small moments of comfort, even amidst hardship. The silence invites you to consider not only their struggles, but also the subtle joys, a shared meal, a quiet conversation, the simple satisfaction of completing a task. These glimpses of humanity emerge softly, like fragments of music in the still air, filling the emptiness with warmth and reflection. You feel a sense of connection across time, a recognition that despite centuries and circumstances, human experience, hope, fatigue, courage, remains consistent. Nearby, the river reflects the moonlight in shimmering patterns, its gentle current echoing the passage of time. You imagine sitting beside it, toes brushing the cool water, listening to its steady flow. The river has seen the passage of generations, a quiet witness to history's unfolding. Each ripple mirrors your slow, deepening breath. Each reflective glimmer a reminder that life continues in cycles of movement and stillness, of action and rest. As you linger in this contemplative state, your mind begins to soften further. Thoughts of battles, marches, and duty are replaced by sensations of presence and tranquility. You feel your body sinking deeper into comfort, your shoulders loosening, your limbs growing heavy with ease. The silence of the past becomes a lullaby of its own, an ambient melody guiding your awareness toward calm and surrender. You reflect on the lessons these moments offer, the resilience of the human spirit, the quiet strength found in routine, the importance of compassion even in adversity. These ideas drift gently through your mind like leaves on a slow river, unhurried and unforced. Each reflection fosters a gentle sense of understanding and closure, helping you release lingering tensions or anxieties from your day. The stars above continue their silent vigil, unwavering and timeless. You imagine the soldiers once gazing up at these same lights, finding both comfort and perspective in their steady glow. Now, as you mirror their quiet observation, you feel a similar calm settling into your bones. The vastness of the sky reminds you that the world is larger than any single moment, that difficulties fade, and that peace can be found in simply observing, breathing, and existing within the present. With each passing breath, the silence deepens. You notice your heartbeat slowing, your thoughts drifting like clouds across an endless horizon. The memory of the past becomes a gentle backdrop, soft and reassuring rather than urgent or disruptive. In this quiet reflection, you sense a natural transition from awareness to rest, from contemplation to the ease of surrender. The fields, rivers, and night sky merge in your imagination into a cohesive world of stillness and safety. You feel the weight of time dissolve, leaving only this serene moment, this gentle connection to history, to life, and to yourself. You are cradled by the quiet of the past, guided by the soft light of memory, and embraced by the calm rhythm of the present. As part 4 concludes, You allow your awareness to settle fully into this tranquil state. The silence of the past, now a companion rather than a reminder, encourages your mind to drift naturally toward the comfort of sleep. Your body is supported, your thoughts softened, and your spirit aligned with the gentle continuity of life. Here, in this meditative space, the day fades, the past is honored, and you are ready to move into the final phase of your journey, the deep, restorative sleep that awaits. The journey you have traveled today comes gently to a close. The streets you walked, the camps you visited, and the quiet reflections by rivers and starlit skies now soften into the calm of memory. All the sights, sounds, and sensations you have imagined, the distant clatter of boots, the soft flicker of lanterns, the hushed murmur of conversations long past, fades slowly into the background. Your body begins to settle deeper into comfort, feeling supported and heavy, each muscle relaxing one by one. Take a slow, deliberate breath in and let it flow out with ease. Feel the calmness spreading from the top of your head down through your shoulders, releasing any lingering tension. Your arms grow heavy and warm. The rhythm of your breath becomes gentle and unhurried, like the soft ripple of a river under the moonlight. Each exhale carries away the remaining fragments of the day, leaving only a serene awareness of rest and safety. Imagine yourself lying in a quiet room, or perhaps in the midst of the open fields you have explored in your mind. The air is cool but comforting, wrapping around you like a soft blanket. The faint sounds of the past, soft footsteps, distant conversations, the rustle of leaves are now just echoes, soothing and distant, blending with the quiet of your surroundings. With every breath, you feel more grounded, more anchored in the safety of this moment. As you continue to breathe slowly, your mind drifts effortlessly between thoughts and quietude. You notice the gentle rhythm of your heartbeat, steady and calm, a reminder of life and presence. Each pulse brings reassurance, each pause between beats a moment of peace. You are safe here, in this quiet, in this stillness. The world outside can wait. Here, in your mind and body, there is nothing to do but relax and sink deeper into comfort. Now, imagine the city or battlefield fading away. Streets, tents, and fields dissolve softly, leaving only the glow of moonlight and the gentle twinkle of distant stars. Your surroundings are reduced to pure calm, a serene landscape of peace and quiet. You feel yourself floating slightly, weightless and unburdened, carried on the soft currents of imagination and memory. Each gentle wave of thought moves you further into relaxation, away from tension, away from effort, toward the welcoming arms of sleep. Repeat quietly to yourself, if it helps, I am safe, I am at peace, I am ready to rest. Let these words guide you, their rhythm matching the slow and steady cadence of your breath. With every repetition, your muscles relax further, your thoughts quiet, your awareness narrowing to the soothing sensation of presence. The world has slowed, and you move with it, gliding into the warmth of deep rest. Picture a gentle light, soft and amber, surrounding your body like a protective bubble. It moves over your shoulders, down your arms, across your chest, and finally to your legs and feet. Wherever it passes, tension melts away. Shoulders unclench, jaw loosens, eyelids feel heavier. The warmth of this light is comforting and steady, reassuring you that all is well. You are exactly where you need to be, resting, safe, and calm. Your mind may continue to wander through the echoes of history, but now in a gentle, dreamlike way. Soldiers' footsteps become rhythmic drumbeats of memory, the rustling of tents a lullaby, Lanterns flickering in distant camps cast long, soft shadows that are comforting rather than distracting. These fragments of history no longer hold urgency. They are simply part of the tapestry of your mind, guiding you into a serene state where body and mind are ready to drift. As sleep approaches, allow yourself to release control, letting each thought, each image, float past without attachment. Imagine a slow river carrying everything away with ease. You are floating on its surface, cradled by calm water, with the gentle current moving you forward toward deep rest. There is no need to resist, no need to hold on. The river of relaxation carries you effortlessly. Now focus entirely on your breath once again. Inhale slowly and deeply. Hold for a brief moment. Exhale fully. Feel the wave of calm sweep through you. Inhale. Exhale. Each breath slower, each exhale longer, guiding you deeper. The rhythm of your breathing becomes your anchor, your steady companion in this transition from wakefulness to restful sleep. Allow your thoughts to soften even further. Memories of the day, images of battles and fields, distant cities and quiet rivers. Let them blur into a gentle haze. They are no longer pressing, no longer important. Only your calm, your comfort, and your peaceful awareness remain. You feel a profound sense of release, as though the tension of centuries, of history, of your waking hours, is finally melting away. Imagine your body becoming heavier, sinking slowly into your mattress or resting place. Feel it supported on all sides, cradled and safe. With each passing moment, your mind drifts further into quiet. Your thoughts slow, your heartbeat steadies, your muscles relax. Even your eyes, heavy and serene, begin to close naturally, effortlessly. The soft repetition of gentle phrases can now guide you entirely. I am calm, I am safe, I am drifting, I am resting. Each phrase matches the rhythm of your body and breath, reinforcing your deep relaxation. You are safe, you are at peace, you are ready for the deep, restorative sleep that has been waiting since the journey began. Let the last images of the day fade fully, replaced by the comforting blankness of peaceful rest. The world, both past and present, becomes a soft blur. Your body is still, your mind relaxed, your awareness slipping towards sleep. Every sound, every memory, every thought is distant, softened, and non-intrusive. You are suspended in a calm, protected space where nothing can disturb your rest. As you drift, if your mind wanders, return gently to the rhythm of your breath and the soft repetition of your reassuring phrases. Inhale, exhale. I am calm, I am safe, I am resting. Allow these words to become your lullaby, a slow, steady mantra that carries you further into deep sleep. Finally, let the awareness of your body and mind dissolve entirely into the quiet. Feel yourself enveloped in comfort, in safety, in the embrace of night. The journey is complete. The city fades into dreams. You are safe and at peace. Sleep now, deeply and easily, resting fully until morning light. And if upon waking, you wish to continue traveling through history in this gentle, calm way, you can return any time. If this journey brought you calm, consider subscribing for more relaxing history sleep stories, guiding you softly into rest, night after night.